for your company.
Okay. Trying something new now is, oh, wait a minute. Oh, here we are. Here we are.
Oh.
Oh, why are there only trying something new? Oh, there's a lag. Oh, here we are.
Oh, I can see my face on YouTube.
Really? I see.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a link.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're live. We're on YouTube right now. I pasted the link to the YouTube page that showing us live. So if you want to have a look, but it would be best if you had your sound mute for YouTube, because there's a few seconds of lag, and you will hear yourself a few seconds later if you talk. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So back to our conversation. Yeah. Mute your YouTube page. 네, 음소거를 하시면 됩니다. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I'm ignoring that now. So Aiki told me that she restarted her golf lessons and golf practice, I guess, more like. Songji told me that he's preparing to go to Finland next week. How about you, Byung-gun? What's been happening with you lately?
About golf or?
Oh, no, just yourself. Anything new since we last met on Monday? Anything that you'd like to share with us?
Currently, we are doing some performance review in company level. So
okay,
I have to review so a couple of people, and I got also reviewed by my boss.
Okay. So there's downward review and then there's upward review. Do you also do upward review as well? So your junior staff review yourself? No. Okay.
I don't think so. Yeah. Only if I make some big mistake. Yeah. At that case, probably company HR actively try to find out my weak point.
Okay.
Yeah, what I did something wrong.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. So, what have I been doing? Nothing much for me as well. It's raining almost every day here lately. So yeah, I can't live without air conditioning. And I have to start looking for a house because I need to move out. I need to move out by February, so end of February. So end of February, I need to move out of the house and move into a new one. And
congratulations.
Really? No, I have to find a house now. Yeah.
Have to find.
Yes, I have to find. So
yeah.
So my homeowner, landlord, we signed a contract saying that our current contract will be for 1 year, and if we want, we can extend 1 more year. We can extend, so it's not must. We can. So the landlord called me end of last month, and told me that his family plans to move back in so we have to move out.
Ah, that's
And-
too bad.
So
No choice.
yes, no
I
choice.
don't have a choice.
I don't have a choice. And
How about the house price in Indonesia currently?
well, it depends. So the problem with our family is that we need to find a house that has at least 4 bedrooms,
Ah,
because myself and my wife, and then we've got 3 kids, and then we have my mother-in-law with us as well.
ah.
So
Big-
we're a
big
family of
family.
6. Yes, we're a family of 6. And the minimum number of rooms that we need is at least 4. So fine.
But Indonesia, the big family is a usual.
I mean, it is, but the rent is usually cheap if you're looking for a house with 3 bedrooms. So there's a heap of supply for 3 bedrooms, because that's where the demand is as well. So 4-bedroom house there's not that much demand, so that's why the rent cost is also high as well, because there's not much to choose from. And the rent condition here is usually you have to pay upfront for 2 years. So you don't pay there's not many houses that pay monthly rent. You pay the total amount for 2 years rent. That's the norm. Or at least 1 year rent. So that's why we need a big sum, but we don't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the problem was that there were a lot of things happening this year, so we don't have that much prepared. So we're trying to look for a house that is on the market with monthly rent. There are some, but not many. So yeah. So we've got about 2 months time to find a place and move out.
Sure.
Wow, must be very stressful. Because you have a big family, so lots of things to move.
Yes, it is kind of.
Lots of stuff.
Yes. Well, we don't have that many stuff because we weren't able to bring a lot with us from Korea. But because of that, we currently live in a furnished house.
Oh, okay.
So that was very fortunate for us. But the problem is that if we cannot find a furnished house, then we also need to purchase home appliances and furnitures as well.
That's too bad.
So we are trying to find a furnished house as much as possible. Yeah, so that's what's been happening with me lately.
I hope you can find a very good house for you.
I hope so too. I hope so too. There's a lot of cockroaches here. And they're usually about this big. So at least 5 to 6 centimeters. Fortunately, they don't fly.
I see.
Yes, fortunately, they don't fly. Yes.
Oh, scary.
Yes.
How could you handle it?
Well, I flush them down usually. Yes. While they're still alive.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So yeah. It's all upon me. It's my responsibility to get rid of those things.
Insects.
Yes, insects and everything. At least our house does not have rats.
I see.
But if we move, I don't know what will happen.
You
Hi,
have to
Guan-Young.
check it first.
Yeah, I hope so. Hi, Guan-Young.
Hi, Town.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Yes. We were just talking about what's been happening lately, and you just came right on time. It's your your turn to talk. What's been happening with you, Kwon Young?
What was the question?
What's been happening with you lately? Since Monday, since that was the last day we met.
Yeah, I recovered from COVID-19.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh,
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So you have to go back to work, to your office?
Oh, yes. Today was the first time after I
Okay.
recovered.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, when my colleagues were afraid of me and they kept distance from me over 2 meters more.
Okay.
Mhm.
Well, yeah. Maybe you should get closer to them.
Yeah, I tried, but they avoided.
Okay. Oh, so you had to eat alone? No one ate with you?
No, that's too mean. So they tried to
Okay. Well,
avoid me.
well, they've been good sport, yes. Okay, that's
Mhm.
good. Okay, that's good. Oh, that's good. Okay. So yeah, it seems everybody was busy doing something at least. Yes. Not the routine thing. So that's good. I was watching a news clip, a Korean news clip. Was it yesterday or today morning? And it was about how much there's really a small number of children that's entering elementary school. So first year of first graders for elementary entering school this year has decreased 10% compared to last year. That was the news, and probably by 2025, that number is going to shrink much more. And because and I was kind of thinking, one, okay, my wife's a teacher, so will she be able to keep her job? Yes, that was one. And then because I was involved in immigration work, in my job with the Australian Embassy, and I was thinking about, so Australia is one of the countries that actively promotes migration.
Mm.
So they actively try to bring in skilled workers as much as possible because they have a small population, and the birth rate is also not that high. And so today's news clip that I selected is about Canada's immigration, how they intend to increase the number of migrants into Canada. Yeah. So maybe after watching this, Songji I may have asked Songji the same question a few months ago. I may or may not have, but I just want your views on what you think about Korea's future. So increasing birth rate doesn't seem to be working that much. So Korea will I think Korea will come to a point where they will need to promote migration.
Right.
So maybe we can talk about that after watching the video. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so just a minute. I'll be opening the video. So today's news is from NBC, but the reporter seems to have his accent doesn't seem to be that much American. I mean, there's hints of American accent, but it sounded mixed. So yeah, have a look and let me know. Wait a minute. Where are you? Okay, here it is. So subtitles does not seem to be working on this. It's been,
Okay.
yeah.
It's the most diverse city in North America. More than half of Toronto's residents are born outside Canada, and that number could soon explode. Sean Fraser is Canada's immigration minister.
The number of newcomers that we welcomed the year prior to forming government was about 240,000 annually, and by 2025, we'll be increasing it to 500,000.
By 2025, Canada's government hopes to bring in nearly 1.5 million immigrants to fill critical jobs.
We are currently in a healthcare crisis and in a significant nursing shortage. So we really needed to get creative and innovative.
At Toronto's largest city hospital, the recruitment push is on.
Hello, how are you doing?
25-year-old Amandeep Kaur was a nurse in India. She arrived in Canada just as the pandemic began.
I never thought that I would be at this place, like working in a world-class hospital.
We currently have about anywhere between 400 and 500 vacancies in nursing alone.
Toronto's a multicultural city, one of the most diverse in North America. But people here say they need even more immigration to fill key labor shortages.
In 2022, immigrants made up 23% of Canada's population, the largest proportion in more than 150 years. That's compared to just 14.6% in the United States.
It is a nonpartisan issue in Canada. It really isn't. All the political parties support immigration.
And with a rapidly aging workforce, business leaders have been pressuring the government to up the number of immigrants for years.
We need more people. We don't care where they're from. If they've got technical skills, if they're willing to work, if they're able to work with numbers, bring them in.
Did you run up against any of that kind of opposition in Canada? People saying that we should preserve Canadian jobs for Canadians.
Look, that narrative comes up every once in a while. We still have almost 1 million vacancies in the Canadian economy where businesses need workers.
Workers like Amandeep, who now call this country their home.
Personally, I've felt so. Like I've gotten all the support because I was alone here. So I've gotten all the support from all the communities that are here.
Julia Ainsley, NBC News, Toronto.
Okay. So if you're interested in migrating, maybe Canada could be be one of the countries on top of the list. Canada, because I was in that line of work, Canada traditionally has been very open to immigration, migrants, even more than Australia or the US or even New Zealand. And I remember they were actually selling Canadian migration on TV shopping channels.
Wow.
In the past, in Korea. Maybe when you weren't around, Byung-gon, but they were actually promoting and selling it.
But I wonder how they were able to increase the number of job kind of nurses. Is it because of COVID-19 or they build a new hospital? How can do that?
Well, I'm not quite sure on that. I don't exactly know the situation in Canada, but like many countries, especially Western countries, nursing job is considered to be very a very physically demanding job. And so not many people want to work as a nurse. That's what happened in Australia. And that was one of the reasons why even when I was there, so maybe about 5-6 years ago, one of the most occupation on demand in Australia was nursing, so healthcare. Yes, and especially if you want to work, a lot of those jobs were filled in big cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane. But if you go to regional Australia, then those jobs are really high in demand. There's not many people who wants to work in those areas. So that's why the Australian state government and federal government, they would promote migrating to those areas mostly. Even doctors were not.
Payment is not good for nurse.
Oh no, it's actually quite good. It's just physically demanding.
Yeah.
People just don't want to work in demanding workplaces.
They don't want to take care of sick people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unlike Korea, where well, it started. I know that it started in Korea, and even still, Korean nurses. I mean, Korean nursing job is quite physically demanding, but until recently, Korean nurses really didn't need to take care of the personal needs of the patients. So they had separate carers, or 간병인 that we usually call, who would take care of the patient, or the family would. Whereas in Western countries, it's almost impossible to think about having a family stay in the patient's room, the hospital, together with the patient throughout the day. I mean, even sleep there. That doesn't happen. They have very strict visiting hours, and you cannot stay there for that long.
Actually, nowadays in Korea too, because of the Corona situation,
yes,
only one person can stay. Only one.
Yes. But even still, a lot of the times in Korea, that only one person is usually family.
Or family, or 간병인?
Yes, or care, yes.
Everybody is busy, actually.
Yes,
so.
But you can only use a carer if you only have the money to hire one. If you can't afford to hire a carer, then it's very likely that one of the family member is going to stay behind in the hospital and take care of them. Whereas I don't know if I know Byung-gun, you've lived in overseas for a long time, but if you have any experience being hospitalized, you would know that it's very unlikely for a family member to stay with the patient 24-hour.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why it's more physically demanding in Western countries, and that's why a lot of people, what the Koreans call 3D jobs. It's a very Konglish term. Yes, it's a very Konglish term. But yes.
Yeah, about 20 something years ago, even US, they offer express visa, permanent residency, who apply to nurse.
Yes. So nursing is an occupation that is on high demand. Yes. Yes. So what do you think? Do you think Korea needs to open its doors as well to migration?
I think we have to.
You have to. Would you agree on it?
Yes, sure.
Okay. How about you,
selectively, very selectively, such as the US, they very picky about accepting immigrants.
Yes, they are.
Only they accept higher education, more qualified, no criminal record.
Well, that applies to, I think that also applies to Canada as well. So Usually when countries accept migrants, one of the things that they always look at is their police records in the past and whether they have the skill sets that is needed by that country. That's kind of like the basic. But what I find Korea to be lacking is you see so many unskilled workers working in Korea.
I see.
Maybe they are the illegal worker.
No, I mean, of course, there are illegal workers as well, illegal migrants, but Korea usually opens its doors. It is open to skilled workers, but it's also opened widely open to, yes, low-paying manual working jobs. So they have a certain visa for Chinese to come and work in Korea. And there's really no need. The requirement isn't that high.
Maybe the demand for the job that
Yes.
Korean don't want to the 3D job, and that kind of necessary. But I think enhancing the guide like the US is necessary than now.
So from what I see, of course, Korea really needs to work on the legal framework, but also it also has to work on social aspects as well, because I know some of you have already, like Ike, you've already mentioned that you agree on this, but many Koreans are, I know for a fact that many Koreans are against having foreigners come in and becoming Koreans or permanent residents. So that's something that needs to be resolved to have more migrants come in. How about you, Sungju? What do you think?
I also agree about that opening, but if we have rigid legal foundations about foreign people, and in my opinion, Koreans need more open mind for cultural difference. Yeah, that would be one of the problems these days, because we are how can I say in 한일민족 in English?
Was it monogamous?
Like one race? One race?
One race.
No, there is actually a word for that. But
I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, but the thing is, Koreans are not actually
monoethnic.
Yes, so even Koreans, although we claim to be homogeneous, homogeneous country, yes. So although we claim to be a homogeneous country, we're actually not. We're already mixed with Mongolians, people from Siberia, Japan, China. So we seem to look the same, but if you get into the DNA levels, we really aren't really a homogeneous country.
Yeah, that's right. And how can I say it as a cultural homogeneity?
Yeah, yes. If that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like the fact that we teach our children about Gojoseon and about like Hangun and everything, but emphasizing that we're a homogeneous country would not, I think in the future would not be a good education curriculum, because that is one of the barriers that we have that limits us from being an open country for migrants. That's my view.
And most serious part is babysitting, I think, because in
Yes.
Korean woman is really, really expensive. We have to pay them more 200만 won per month. So I think not only Joseon족 but also other Asian country have so much more affordable and very good care. So I want in the party we cannot afford the Korean nanny.
Yeah, but what the problem is, those nannies will have language barriers, and if you're looking for a nanny that can well at least speak English, that is, they are those nannies, even here in Indonesia, they're very highly qualified and very expensive. So it's not easy.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And for Koreans to compete in a labor market that's open to foreigners, and the foreigners are being paid less, will only make it unequal. I mean, how would you say it?
Unfair.
Unfair, yes, unfair for Koreans at a point. That's why when I was working in the embassy, one of the things that we look at is if a business owner in Australia employs a foreigner, they have to pay the same amount of salary as they would pay in Australian. You have a fair competition within the labor market. So if that happens, then trying to find, I mean, what you just mentioned, Aiki, would not be easy. Yes. So I think what we fail to do is, when we think about migrants, the Koreans' conception, the conception that Koreans have about migrants is that they're low skilled, two, they should be paid less than Koreans, and three, we're kind of better than them. I think that Koreans would probably say they don't feel that way, but deep down they may be. So that has to be one of the things that needs to be educated.
But I witnessed in many cases in other countries too. Usually in US, the Mexicans and
yes, I know,
South Americans, they are
they work in low-skilled, low-paid jobs.
Right.
Right.
In UK, the Eastern Europeans, or mostly Eastern Europeans, they did all the hard work, low-paid hard work.
But I think that would eventually form a group of people that would have a grudge against the government, the society as a whole. I mean, they would be considered to be low class, low paid, low skilled, and that would enable to form, those people would eventually form a neighborhood where it becomes a slum.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, even in Korea right now, think of what a lot of Koreans think about Daerimdong and Gurodong. Because there's so many Chinese living there, and a lot of those Chinese, they're working in low-paid, low-skilled jobs. Yes. So, oh, wait a minute, I forgot. So oh, wait a minute. So this is the link to the transcript. So if you're interested, go and have a look. In an earlier meetup, I talked about bipartisan a few meetups ago, and in this news they were mentioning about non-partisan issue. So that would be in Korean 초당파적인 문제. Yeah.
Non-partisan.
Yeah. Non-partisan. When we were talking about bipartisan, it was more like 양당 합의. Yeah, but non-partisan would mean so all parties. Yes. Regardless of all parties. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Oh, sorry, Kwon-young. I'm really sorry. I forgot to ask you. What's your view, Kwon-young?
Oh, that's fine. But my view,
yeah.
Actually, I read the article yesterday that was about the inflation of labor forces in America. You know, everyone knows about the inflation issues in America, and the first one was the shortage of the production, and second was the oil crisis. And third one is the labor forces. So the labor forces, the payment is increasing so sharply in America, so they are suffer from the inflation of the labor.
Okay.
The solution was the immigration, and when they analyzed the shortage of labor forces, the low-income labor was really in short. So I think all the nations are suffering from the shortage of the low-skilled laborers. So I think I need to invest more money in the robots and intelligence.
So you think we need to invest more on automation?
Yeah, automation.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, initially I couldn't understand why the Elon Musk was investing so much about developing new AI robot and the house robot, but now I can understand.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I did not know that as well. Oh, yes.
Wow.
Thank you, Will. I did not know that. Yeah,
I think
sorry, no, go ahead, Kwon-young.
I think there will be the industrial robots.
Industrial robots, yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's mostly like automobile assembly robots.
Yes.
Yeah, mostly in Hyundai.
I haven't seen it myself, but I mean, I've seen several videos on YouTube showing these robots moving around restaurants. So they had food, they were moving food around. Yeah.
In Korea, it is, we can see it often nowadays.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't able to see that much when I was there. So although it was only a few months ago. Yeah. And they're really not industrial robots. I mean, in a sense, you can't say they work in the F&B industry, but I mean, they're not working in like factories doing manufacturing. So we are seeing robots moving into the workplace, I think, more and more. Okay. Well, thank you, Kwon-young, and thank you all for sharing your thoughts on this matter. I mean, it's a never-ending debate. There's no right or wrong. So I just wanted to give you the chance to speak out on what your views are on this matter. So yeah, so it was really nice to hear your opinions, and I'll try to find something again that we can all share our thoughts about. So yes, any questions from today's meetup, from the news or whatever? Oh, and one thing, sorry, before we go on. Today's transcript, I will be sharing it on our Kakao channel for this time, because we're showing it on what is it, YouTube video anyway, I mean live anyway, so I thought I'd share it with everyone. Yeah, just letting you know. Okay, so any questions? Any final remarks? Nothing? Okay. I think. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Okay. Okay. So that'll be the end of today's meetup. Thank you all for participating, or especially actively participating. And I'll be here again tomorrow at 9:30, as usual. I'll try to come back with a more interesting topic to talk about. And thank you, and have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye. Thank you.
Good night. Bye.